The movie begins with Adrian Toomes and, in my version, Ben Parker cleaning up the battle from the Avengers film. And just like in the initial film, they will be called off the job. And also, in my version that happened in the original, Adrian Toomes will punch the one guy, but in my version, Ben Parker will stop him. Adrian Toomes is angry, and after learning that Tony Stark is the reason, he'll start to collect more of the alien technology to make weapons. Ben Parker and Adrian's relationship will be more fractured, but then we would see the scene with Peter recording everything and like vlogging, that will all be the same. Everything with Peter recording will be the same, except my one major difference will come at the end, which he'll be pretty much talking to himself and will pretty much say how he now dislikes Tony Stark. There won't be no text messages or anything like that. He'll just be living his normal life. And pretty much that will mainly be the same, except for one difference is that MJ will be friends with them. He'll still have a crush on Liz and be bullied by Flash Thompson, and that'll be the same. Everything with him being Starman, he'll go out and fight some crime. That will all be the same. Peter will still quit the castle one, but that's simply because of the stress of being Peter and Spider-Man. He'll also create web fluid at school, and then we would get the scene with the robbers wearing the Avengers mask. And that will all be the same with pretty much that small fight that will happen, and then the bakery or whatever gets destroyed. Peter will still save everyone. And then Peter will return home and climb in third window, and Ned will reveal that he is there and will see Peter in his costume. But one thing before we get into this scene is that Peter will have made his own suit by this point, and yeah. But Ned will ask Peter if anyone knows, and Peter will simply reply with no one. And he will say that he can't tell anyone. That night, Aunt May will have dinner with Peter, and on the TV, there's a report from the Daily Bugle about how Spider-Man's a menace, and Aunt May will make a comment saying how only if Spider-Man was around when Uncle Ben died because he could have saved him, and Peter will feel regret that he did, and we would get a flashback, which is pretty much would be his actual comic origin. But then everything at school the next day would happen. We'd get the cameo Chris Evans, Captain America, and Peter will tell Ned how he stole the shield. Everything with Liz would happen, and everything like that would they get invited to her party, and that will pretty much be the same. They will go to Liz's party, and Peter originally doesn't want to, but then gets teased by Flash Thompson, so he decides to, but before he goes out, there's an explosion, so Spider-Man goes to check it out. And it's a weapons deal between some of the Vulture's guys and Aaron Davis, which of course is a rep to Miles Morales. And then Peter would get a call from Ned that will pretty much alert the criminals, and everything would be the same where he would fight them. The Vulture would come after he chases them for a bit, and will pretty much bring him super high up into the sky before dropping him, and Iron Man will still save him, but it will be different. So pretty much Iron Man will be like, what were you thinking? You could have been killed, but Peter was like, well, if I didn't intervene, other people would be killed. And he's like, are you going to arrest me? And Tony will be like, no, but you have to stop chasing this guy. And pretty much then Peter will ask how he found him, and Tony will say, I tracked your phones before leaving. Peter will choose not to go back to the party after finding a weapon that was left behind by one of the Vulture's group. And the Vulture will end up killing the guy that left his equipment after he threatened to reveal what's going on. So the Vulture picks up a gun and vaporizes him. Peter and Ned will crack open the weapon to find a energy core thing and everything at the school with the shocker showing up and Peter attaching a tracker to him will be the same. In my version, Peter will not rejoin the decathlon, but instead will travel to Washington on his own. And there's no, of course, hack in the suit because that suit doesn't exist. Well, at least it doesn't belong to Peter. In my version, there will no be AI. It will simply be Peter talking to himself instead. But anyways, he will still track down the group in my version, and everything will play out pretty much the same with him finding out about the weapon truck or the truck with weapon. He'll still fight the Vulture and he'll still get knocked inside one of the trucks to wake up in the facility, and he'll simply be talking to himself. Peter will still find out that the core is a bomb, but in my version he will be able to break out and crack the door himself because of course no AI, and he will try to get a hold of Ned, but it won't work. He'll still go to the monument where Ned is, and he'll pretty much, after it blows up, he'll get there and everything will be the same in that regard, and he will still get in by the helicopter. And everything with the elevator of Liz being the last one to get out and Peter will save her, that will be the same, and Peter will choose on his own, because of course he didn't record it, but to go find Aaron Davis and to question him, and of course we'll get a hit at Miles in this universe. He will still go to the ferry, and we will still see Matt Gargan, and he will not get a call from Tony Stark or anything like that, because of course their relationship is different. He'll fight the goons before the Vulture shows up, and everything will still happen with the ferry being pretty much cut in half and Peter trying to fix it, but Iron Man will have to show up to fix it in the end. And of course everything is revealed that Iron Man did actually listen to Peter and he contacted the FBI. And also the conversation will be like, Tony Stark will pretty much be like, you got yourself killed, and Peter will explain about Uncle Ben, and like it's going to be more the focus, and we will actually mention and show Uncle Ben. But Peter will not have to give the suit back because of course he made it himself. Peter would return home and Aunt May would be furious. She knows that he sneaks out at night, and she pretty much yells at him, and she's like, Uncle Ben just died and you can't be doing that. You're like freaking me out, all this. And pretty much they will have a moment that we can't hear, but it will pretty much be like silent. Peter breaks down. And this will be like their first full-on conversation about Ben. And the next day, MJ, Ned, and Peter are talking. They will convince him to go ask Liz out, and he will agree to go to the homecoming dance with him. And Peter will go to her house that night, and it's revealed that her dad is the Vulture. Everything will play out the same up until the car ride and when they get to the school. The Vulture will threaten him and everything like that will be the same. Peter will end up ditching Liz and will get attacked by the Shocker, and he can't get to his web shears, and Ned will end up saving him, and Peter will web him up to a bus before telling Ned to call the police. And Ned will, after he calls the police, will end up finding the Vulture's location, and Peter will track him down. And the Vulture will tell Peter to take off his mask, and Peter would do so, as the Vulture does the same. And it's revealed that the Vulture killed Uncle Ben, and then he will still use his suit to trap Peter as he gets away. And Peter will think to himself after he can't lift it that he's going to die and that Tony Stark was right, but then he remembers what his uncle said and he's able to free himself, and he follows the Vulture to the plane, and as the Vulture tries to steal the stuff, Peter intervenes, and pretty much the plane will still nearly go down with Peter having to use his web to make sure it doesn't hit the city and lands in the beach. And Peter and the Vulture both wore out, and Peter tried to use his web to stop the Vulture, but it doesn't work. Peter will jump up and use his web to knock the Vulture to the ground, and he will carry him away as his suit blows up, and then we will see Peter back as normal life. He'll apologize to Liz, and Liz says that she found out that her dad killed his uncle, and she'll apologize. And then Peter's life goes back to normal with Gwen, Ned, and Peter both hanging out again, and Peter making more time for them, and Happy will say that Tony wants to meet, and they will, but the scene will be different. Pretty much, Tony will apologize for how he acted in Civil War, and they will leave on good terms, but Peter says that he's just going to stay the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man for a while, but it will pretty much, he will still get offered a suit, but it won't be the exact same one, and it won't be that there's like, there was reporters, because of course that was done in the last film, Civil War. And Peter will end up improving the suit that he already made and fixing it up, and Aunt May will still see him, and we'll get the post-credit scene with the Scorpion, and pretty much Peter's name will still, he will not mention him, the Vulture won't, and that's where I'm going to end off here. But hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. If you guys enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at MTRYTOfficial for updates and announcements of my future videos. But hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you all in the next one.